Yo, what's good, chat? We are back again. I found this clip of Nick Fuentes talking about the Talmud again. And once again, like, they're just letting these people say more lies. They'll call you an anti-Semite, but never a liar. But these guys, they are liars. I won't call them an anti-Semite because it hurts their feelings when you call them that. So these guys are liars. Let's hear what he has to say about Judaism, about the Talmud. I'll be here to answer them all because no one else is doing this. I'm the best you got. Could someone else do this? I don't want to do this. Could someone else please do this? Here we go.
Jewish people are a distinct ethnicity. They always say we're not a race, we're a people. Okay, it's a distinction without a difference. You know,
Right.
They are an ethnicity. And by Jewish law,
Okay,
you can only become a Jew. It's passed down matrilineally, meaning through the mother. So according to halacha, which is Jewish law, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
Probably
you can
not.
only be a Jew. Yeah, I'm sure not.
Yeah.
I'm not
Who gives a
one
shit?
of them.
Okay, so he's right so far, and this is what he does. He did this the last time I made a video about him, is he'll start off saying correct things, and then he'll slip in a lie. So let's see if a lie gets slipped in somewhere. Here.
I'm an American.
I'm Christian.
All right, nice.
But you can only be
Awkward
Jewish if you have a
pause.
Jewish mother. So they discourage.
Correct. Religiously, you're only considered Jewish if your mom's Jewish, right? Now, Hitler would still kill you if your dad was Jewish, right? He'd still, because you have Jewish blood and stuff. So, but yeah, religiously speaking, you're not commanded to do religious Jewish things unless your mother is Jewish, etc., and her mother, etc., etc.
Conversion. A lot of them don't welcome converts. I have Jewish friends, and their parents didn't marry another Jew. It's like a mixed marriage. One's Jewish, one's not Jewish, and they get ostracized by their family.
First of all, no one should be ostracizing their family. That's crazy. In regards to converts are literally commanded to praise converts and to give even more respect to converts. So that's just blatant bullshit. In regards to parents ostracizing their kid for not marrying Jewish, I mean, you shouldn't ostracize your kids. Obviously, you're supposed to love your children. Obviously, you'd want your child to marry someone Jewish in the same way that he would probably want his kid to marry someone Christian. If his kid married a Jew or a Muslim, like, how would he feel about that? He probably wouldn't, he'd probably be a little upset about that. And, Jews, we really want to marry Jews because so many damn Jews died. We need to make more Jews, Also, it creates complication about the kids being Jewish. And to just completely avoid those complications, just marry Jewish. It's nothing personal. It's just, this is just how it is. You shouldn't ostracize them, though. You should love your children. I mean, anyone who's doing that, obviously that's bad. At the same time, I do think that you should marry Jewish. Just keeps things more simple, in my opinion.
Marrying
So
a non-Jew.
if I meet a Jewish girl and we fall in love, I'm fornicating, we have a little Negro kid, will I be accepted as a Jew?
No, they will.
You're not Jewish unless you convert. So maybe if you convert, then you'd be considered Jewish. If you convert, your kids are considered Jewish though, because you married a Jewish girl and because it goes through the mom, as Nick just said, your kids would be considered Jewish. You're not Jewish though, because you didn't convert. So
Ostracize you. They will ostracize her for being with you.
No, that's just not. This is bullshit. No, you're not going to be ostracized. It's definitely going to be like, yeah, her husband's not Jewish, so that could be complicated in regards to just certain things where you need a husband and a wife to be Jewish and stuff, and he's not Jewish. So it definitely creates complications religiously. Obviously, it creates complications religiously. She didn't marry someone Jewish. Sorry if that hurts your feelings. Yeah, it's going to create complications. But to ostracize them, no, I disagree with that. You should not ostracize your family. God forbid.
Pretty messed up, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, I believe in freedom. I believe what this country stands for. Yeah.
So that's
These guys are reminded. Those villain twins from Invincible. Those blue guys. This is what this reminds me of.
That's insane. Because anybody can be Muslim. Anybody can be Christian. But
Correct.
Not everybody can be a Jew.
No. You didn't even talk about that. First, you said that. Where do you even get that? No, of course you could convert. We thought it was to discourage conversion. It's just we're not going to be like, okay, bam, become Jewish, because we want to make sure that you actually believe everything that you're going to take upon yourself before you become Jewish. Yeah, Islam, Christianity. You say a line, you become Muslim. You dunk in some water, you become Christian. In a second, I accept blah blah blah, and now you become a part of the religion. In the Jewish religion, we don't want you to just get a random feeling one day to become Jewish and then instantly convert. Because what's going to happen, there's a good chance that 2 weeks later, you'll start learning about the Jewish laws and you'll be like, oh, shoot, I didn't know this is what I signed up for. And then you're freaking not going to be Jewish. Yeah, we're not going to convert you like just like that. We want to actually know that you're going to properly do everything. And if you are going to properly do everything, we will gladly convert you. It happens all the time. I know someone recently just converted. We allow conversions, but we're not just going to freaking be like, everyone come and join. Oh, you want to come here, freaking get circumcised. This is, you know, and then there's like thousands of laws they don't even know about. That's why we say, like, you got to train for at least a year before you can convert to Judaism. So it's not that it's discouraged. It's not that it's not allowed, not remotely. It's just like we're gonna be like, are you sure about this? You understand what it means to be Jewish, right? It's not just like, oh, I'm gonna convert, maybe I'll go to heaven or something. First of all, you don't need to be Jewish to go to heaven. You just gotta follow 7 Noahide laws. Second of all, it's like there's a lot of things you have to follow. So we want to make sure that you know what you're signing up for. So these are just more lies. They'll just twist that into you're not allowed to convert. It's just not true.
That war that's going on in Israel. I mean, that's like royal. That's like king and queen. It's like past. I think that's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I'm not Jewish.
It's exclusionary. They're not universalist. They and this is where you might have heard Jewish supremacy. Mm-hmm. They call themselves the chosen people. They think they're better than everybody. And if you go...
That's not what chosen people means. Chosen people literally means that God chose the Jewish people to fulfill the 613 commandments that are listed in the Torah. And if you're not Jewish, you simply do not have to fulfill those commandments. You literally just have to follow the 7 Noahide laws and then you go to heaven. The Jews were specifically chosen to fulfill all 613 commandments, which includes doing sacrifices back when the temple existed and all of the nitty-gritty stuff that you see Jews doing nowadays. It's not that we're chosen as these are the greatest people and everyone else sucks. No, it's we're chosen for a specific duty that God chose this group of people to specifically do. Everyone else has their duties. They don't have to do as much things as the Jewish people. They take chosen. They're like, oh, you guys were chosen, so you think that you're better, that Jews are better than non-Jews. It's not remotely what it is. It's literally just like chosen to fulfill specific commandments. If anything, I'd say it's the other way around. It's substantially harder. Now my ass has to do all these damn commandments. Meanwhile, someone who isn't Jewish could do freaking 7 commandments and reap the same reward, you know? So I actually see it as more of the reverse. But you'll see how they use it. Be like, oh, they think they're better on Jewish supremacy, blah, blah, blah. When like the Jewish supremacists that they'll probably name aren't even remotely religious. So why would he care if God said he's a chosen person if they're not even remotely religious? But whatever.
If you dig into their religion, Kabbalah and the Talmud, it's...
Here we go. Oh, I love. Yes, they're going to go explain the Talmud to me. This is going to be good. I always see people nitpicking like Kabbalah, first of all. I mean, from all the Kabbalah that I learned, specifically like Chabad Kabbalah and like the Hasidic movement and stuff like that, it's all pretty... People somehow make all this crap satanic. I don't know how they do it. All the Kabbalah I learned literally just talks about how there's a divine spark in every physical object, that essentially God is constantly giving his energy and vitality into all existing things. That's pretty much like, well, that's pretty much what Kabbalah is talking about from what I've learned about it. They'll find some ways to be like 666 and the Moloch and the devil, which I wasn't learning that when I was like, this isn't what me and all the other Kabbalah learning Jews are learning. But they'll tell us this new Kabbalah that we haven't heard of, and obviously the Talmud, which he's going to talk about, which we've probably stated a billion times on this channel, isn't a book of law. It's rabbis discussing stuff. It's Jewish Reddit. Majority of it gets thrown to the side and rejected a second later. Like majority of the opinions are like, there's like 10 opinions. They'll strip a random opinion and they'll take it. They'll like switch up some words, put it on Twitter, and be like, "Yo, all Jews be believing this, bro. This is what the Jews be believing." And then I'm like, "No, that doesn't exist." Also, like, it's the Talmud. It's not even a book of law. So even if it did exist, it wouldn't be right. You know. So even if it did exist, we wouldn't be following it. But the Goyim love the Talmud more than the Jews. It's very fascinating stuff. For me, it's like I finish yeshiva. I'm like, oh God, finally I can take a break from the Talmud. Meanwhile, we have these Goyim. The Goyim are now learning Talmud. They're apparently professionals. They don't even know the first thing about They don't know the first thing about learning a Talmud, what that even means. Like, tell them, okay, the middle's the Gemara, then you have Rashi on the side, Tosafot on the other, and obviously you have the Mefarshim. They won't know what the hell you're talking about. They'll just like literally translate from. Okay, I'm crashing out. I will be crashing out many times in this video.
It says that their lives are worth more than ours. It says that the penalty.
That's what their Bible says.
That's right, the Talmud. If you go into their holy book, the Talmud is basically rabbis' commentary on the Mishnah. The Mishnah is the 613 commandments from the Jewish Bible.
I wouldn't say that. The Mishnah was compiled by Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi, and it's essentially the oral tradition from rabbis compiled into this book from all the teachings after the second holy temple was destroyed. And it gives many laws, but a lot of them require more explanation. So then you have the Talmud, which explains all of that stuff. And obviously, The Mishnah is from Torah, like it's this passed down thing of the oral tradition, and the Talmud obviously comes from there. And then from the Talmud, you have like slightly more modern day rabbis speaking. When I say that, I mean a couple thousand years ago. And then from the Talmud, you have even more commentary, and then from those commentary, you have the Shulchan Aruch, which is like a few hundred years ago, which is like the compiled book of law in Judaism. That's our book of law, the Shulchan Aruch, right? The Talmud is like all of the nitty-gritty discussions and all the hypotheticals so that we could figure out what the final law is, right? Which I think is a great thing. Like, imagine you just had a book that told you the rules and like how to follow them. You would want to be like, okay, I want some logical explanation of why we're following this, right? I'm just going to follow. I want to know why we're following this. So the Talmud literally goes through everything, asks every question and every detail about it, and it gives all the context of how we got to the final rule. So it's very, very fascinating. And he's going to say that everything in there is law and is the Jewish law, and all Jews follow it. And it's going to be lots of fun.
So there's 10 commandments, but there's others throughout the Old Testament. The Jews extracted those, put them in a book, and then they've debated about how to interpret and apply those for 2,000 years.
Overall,
in the Talmud, it says
decent.
things like,
correct,
you can lie to Gentiles, which are non-Jews.
No, that's not. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't remotely say that. And then they'll say that I'm allowed to lie to Jews or non-Jews. So therefore, everything like this whole debunking video is bullshit because I'm allowed to lie. And then I'm like, well, what the flip? Like I just can't talk no more. It actually says in many sources the exact opposite. But if I quoted that to you, you would probably be like, oh, this is just you lying to me. I think where that's derived from is argument in the Talmud about returning, about doing business affairs with someone who isn't Jewish, where I'm pretty sure it talks about if you do business with someone who isn't Jewish, let's say you owed them some money, but they forgot to remind you that you owe them money, you technically, and this is just one opinion, this isn't law, it says there from that one guy's opinion that you don't have to remind the guy, right? And then you don't have to remind the guy that you owe him the money. If he forgot, that's on him. And from there, like that's where their quote when they say Jews are allowed to lie to non-Jews, like that's where they'll quote it from usually. And then I'm like, well, that's not at all what it says there. And also that's just a random ass opinion and not the law. And this like, so why would you even use that as some like basis of Judaism? That's just not fair. Also, like only a fraction of Jews even learn the Talmud. I'm a part of that fraction, by the way. And I don't believe that they can lie to non-Jews. So I hope that's great for everyone.
Different business practices apply. You can't give Gentiles gifts, but you can give them gifts if it's to ingratiate yourself with them in a business relationship.
You're allowed to give non-Jews gifts. Where is he like pulling this BS from? I'd love to learn it. Like they're gonna get, and then they'll send me some quote, and I'll be like, well, that's not at all what it's saying there, because let me guess, you didn't learn the Talmud properly. You translated it using ancient Aramaic to Google Translate, and you got an answer you didn't like. Maybe just doesn't remotely say that. What's going on here?
That's what it says. That's where that stereotype comes from Jews, because it's in that Bible.
It's in the book.
What do you call it?
You know what's funny about all of this is like, even if it like did say these like made up things in our book, it's like, it's not the book of law. So like, it's all stupid. Like if I like all these arguments could just be like completely thrown away when you just say, hey, by the way, like it's not the rule book. I know you really love to say it's the rule book because it's like oral Torah, and you think that like, cause it's oral Torah, therefore every individual detail in there is therefore like the final halacha. And it's like, no, Nicholas, like, no, that's not at all. And then it'd be like, no, but it is what it says there. And I'm like, oh, great. He should, I should go, and now I got to go back to my synagogue now. I got to tell all the Jews and all the rabbis. I got to be like, guys, we're doing it wrong. We've been doing it wrong. Nick Fuentes, he figured out Judaism, so we should do it how he says it, because apparently we've been doing it wrong for all these years. I'm crashing out. I know we're only 5 minutes in. I'm crashing out.
No, that's not a stereotype. That's their religion.
Black and white.
Man, that is crazy as fuck. That is insane.
It is.
You know what's crazy? Like their religion, like here in America, I'm surprised like the woke left doesn't call that out. Oh, I can't be Jewish. It's like Democrats stay away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Republicans.
You could be Jewish.
You know what?
I
haven't heard one peep since that conflict in Israel. I haven't heard one peep out of black Israelites. Not one peep. Probably got bombed.
Black people could become Jewish, by the way. They also say that black people can't be Jewish. You'll be like, have you ever seen a black Jew? And then I'll be like, yes. You can type black Jew on YouTube. You'll see many black Jews. Just random comment.
Palestine. Shouldn't be laughing at that shit, but yeah, you shouldn't. That's horrible. Yeah, I take that back. That wasn't funny. Man, you're a wealth of information.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't know that about the Talmud.
Yeah.
What's that
He didn't know
about?
it. He didn't know it.
What was that part of the I forget who told me this. They said something about someone bathing in boiling semen.
That's
What?
right.
Yeah.
Here we go.
What?
This one will be fun.
Terrible.
I can't wait
They
for
say
this.
that Jesus Christ is
Yeah.
there in hell, boiling in excrement and semen.
I can't wait to debunk this lie that gets spread around on Twitter. It becomes, I guess, the Christian reason to hate Jews, and it's like it takes 2 seconds to debunk. They never open a Talmud. In the Talmud, specifically on one Amud, you probably don't even know what an Amud is if you're not Jewish. But I read the Talmud. They said right. It talks about a man named Yeshua, right, who is boiling in hell and in poop because he practiced magic and sorcery when he was alive. That's not allowed in Judaism. Some rabbi called him back from the dead or whatever. It's like this whole it's just a story. Like, what does the story even mean? They have this stuff all the time in the Talmud. Like what's real and what's just I heard this story one time, And it says there's this guy named Yeshu, which is Yeshua, and Yeshua obviously translated to English as Jesus. And it says that this Jesus is boiling in hell for practicing sorcery or whatever the hell. And then they're like, oh, you see, this is Jesus boiling in hell. And I'm like, you freaking idiot. I don't know if you know this. Yeshua is one of the most common names in Judaism. It's very common. I know a few Yeshuas personally, right? So, and people that aren't Jewish don't know that. So they don't know that they're like, oh no, it must be talking about my Jesus. And then I'm like, no, there's many people named Jesus or Yeshua, and Jesus was Jewish. Hello? But they're like, oh, I still don't believe you, right? And then I'm like, okay, well, that story that talks about a guy who boiling in shit, that story that they describe took place a few hundred years before Jesus of Nazareth, the Christian Jesus, was born. That story took place a few hundred years before. We know that because of that Yeshua's teacher who existed before that Jesus was born. So not only is it you're just taking, imagine I had a book, and in the book it said, Bob is stupid. And then I went over to freaking Bob Duncan, good luck Charlie. And I said, yo, Bob, they're saying you're fucking stupid. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, look, it says in this book. That's what's going on here. That's how ridiculously out of context it is. It's almost disgusting how, I'm doing the Trump hands. Not only are there so many Jesuses, so even if it was during the same time period, how do you even know it's talking about him? But it's also the story took place before he was born. Obviously, the Talmud was compiled after the fact, but that story, what they're talking about, that time period was before Jesus of Nazareth was born, so it's impossible for it to be Jesus. And then they'll say, oh, but it says also there that Jesus's mother is, Mother Mary is a whore or something. And then I take a look there and I'm like, okay, it doesn't even say the word Jesus. It says there was a man whose mom was a whore, and because it talks about a guy named Jesus a while later, they just assume it's talking about him, when that man who said his mother was a whore and this Jesus who is boiling in hell are actually two different people, two different time periods. So then I'm like, okay, even if that Jesus was your Jesus boiling in hell, then that guy can't be the guy who's who it says his mom is a whore, because they're talking about two different people. But obviously, it doesn't even say any name for the person who says their mom is a whore, obviously. So that can't be talking about Jesus, because it doesn't even give a name. It just gives an example name, like Bob. And the Jesus one doesn't even talk of it. It's not even the right time period. It makes zero sense. It just doesn't make, he wasn't born yet. What do you want from me? And Jesus' most common name. So these guys will be like, Yeshua burning. And by the way, it's also just a fucking story. I don't know if this story, this is a rabbi saying a story. We don't know if it's real. Whatever. W crash out. So hopefully all you Christians are happy from that.
That's what the Talmud says.
There you go.
But that's gotta hurt.
You gotta be lying.
Look it up. Babylonian Talmud.
Really?
They hate Jesus. They say, and that's not even the worst. They say that Jesus was a sorcerer, that his mother was a whore.
You see how it's so easy to manipulate. I was saying that person was a sorcerer, but it's not talking about that Jesus. And he said the mother is a whore. I was talking about a different guy with an example name. It's so easy. It's so easy. I learned this shit in yeshiva, bro. You're gonna come here and tell me I didn't learn it. He's gonna come here and give me new Talmud information. I'm like, oh, I guess we're just freaking idiots then. Well, all these guys learning in yeshiva, we just learned it incorrectly. Really, Nick Fuentes, he had the right version of the Talmud, clearly.
And then they say that he was sent to hell and is boiling in excrement. They hate him. And that's another
They think
reason.
he's a false prophet.
They do. That's why they killed him.
We do believe he's a false prophet, because when the Messiah comes, certain prophecies have to be fulfilled, and they weren't all fulfilled. And then when the Messiah comes, certain things are supposed to happen. Those things didn't happen, right? So yeah, so like that's why we don't believe, that according to Jewish perspective, right? Right. I don't hate you if you're Christian, but like don't like come here and say all Jews hate this and like we want everyone dead and we think your God is in hell. Like it's just disrespectful and ridiculous to assume these things about the Jewish religion. Overall, like the fact that it doesn't say that many negative things about Christianity in the Talmud is pretty like respectful to like the Talmud in general, because the Catholic Church has done terrible things to the Jewish people and community, and Jesus overall was not a good effect for the Jewish people, for those who didn't convert to Christianity, right? So honestly, it would actually make sense if it said those sort of things, but it doesn't, because I guess Jews are just really nice,
That's why they crucified him.
So why would we give these people Jerusalem for?
They crucified Jesus because he was making a religion during a time period when many people were making religions under the Roman Empire, and you weren't under the Catholic Church, and you were supposed to report those who made new religions. And Jesus wasn't the only one who got pinned on the cross. Hello. That's how they killed people back then, and they killed many people who made religions back then. Yeah, so it wasn't the Jews, it was the Romans for perspective.
You can thank Trump for that. Did Trump do that?
He did.
Oh, he put the embassy there, right?
He put the embassy there, and he recognized that as the eternal capital of Israel, because before it was disputed as to who had control over it. Because the Palestinians claim it as their capital.
I mean, Jews will always believe that Jerusalem is, it's freaking, that's just a religious thing. So Trump saying one thing or the other isn't going to mean much to me personally, because, I know what I believe from my religion. So
I had a family member that went there, and he went to Jerusalem. He said, man, he's never felt such hatred towards him.
Yep.
He's black and Korean.
And he said the Muslims treated him fine.
Yeah. Well, Muslims revere Jesus. Muslims believe that Jesus was a prophet. They call him Messiah. They don't think he was the savior of the world, but they call him a prophet and they revere him. Jews don't like Christians. They hate, especially in Israel, they spit on Christians.
You take one video of some extreme kids spitting on a Christian like 20 years ago, and now all the Jews hate Christians and they spit on Christians. It's just ridiculous.
They vandalize churches. Yeah. It's very common.
I'm against all of that. Majority of pretty much, yes, all Jews are against that. I mean, it's just, but you're going to take the one-off situation and like I'm not going to come here and say, like are Catholic priests supposed to do things to children? Like, no, that's not a fair thing to say, because obviously, it's just like, just because a Catholic priest did something to blah, 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 doesn't mean I'm going to say all. That's like sort of what's what's going on here. I'm not going to come here and be like, are Catholic priests commanded to do things to children? It's because I know it's stupid and it's not fair and it's not everyone, right? Like, and this is just that's just what he's doing here. So
they made him wear the little hat. What do you call that?
Yarmulke.
Yarmulke.
Is that what it's called? Yarmulke?
Yeah. When I forget. I think it was
when you go to Jerusalem, this Holy Land, they said you have to wear that. That's mandatory. Even
mandatory.
If you're don't seem too tolerant to me.
I don't think it's mandatory. It's more of just a sign of respect. I mean, if Trump truly didn't want to wear the yarmulke, I'm pretty sure they would have let him not wear the yarmulke. It's more of just like you're coming to this establishment. I'm pretty sure you can take it off and no one's gonna bat an eye. I mean, they'd be like, okay. I mean, he's not Jewish, so why do we care? He's not Jewish. Why does he need to wear a yarmulke?
Yeah.
Even when I think I saw some images of Trump there, he was wearing it. Yeah.
Bro, these guys they're so obsessed with these guys touching the wall, like satanic ritual. He's touching the wall. Oh my god! Like calm down, G. Like, bro, it's they're paying their world leaders and their presidents. Like, they're being respectful. I assume they do that for every religious movement and institution. They visit mosques and churches and they'll respect the traditions there. Like, but when it's here, it's satanic and it's a cabal and Epstein's list and blah blah blah. And it's just like, okay, like they don't do this. They just do. Oh, this is funny right here. They have this guy wearing the Chinese hat.
Trump was wearing
for the Great Wall of China.
6'4" Trump walk around with that little hat on his head.
Bow the knee to the Jews.
Bow the knee to the Jews. Get real, bro. Come on.
Scan in on it, because man, there got to be a damn bald eagle to see that. Okay. To be in boiling semen, he called up. What's that?
Yeshua.
Yeshua?
Yeshua.
By Neo. I can't see that.
Necromancy.
Necromancy.
I said the story. This guy like spoke to him from the dead. Or it's just a story, and it says Yeshu, right? Yeshua, and they're just gonna like assume that it's Jesus. I mean,
He said to him, who is honored in the next world.
So it says right there he's boiling in semen. That's a lot of semen. What they do? Jack off?
hey, man, what's wrong with you?
No, that is crazy.
all right. Well, I hope that cleared things up for a lot of people who Jewish, not Jewish, Christian. I mean, I think that cleared it up pretty easily, right? Took like a half hour. Took a few minutes to explain, but took a half hour for me to crash out about. And send me more in the comments, more things that we should take a look at. These guys, I mean, it's just blatant lies. Takes 2 minutes to debunk. No one's gonna see this, so like it sucks, because only Jew hatred goes viral. Defending Jews never goes viral. That's why people hate on Jews, because it gets views and money. Who's the real Jew? Who's the real Jew if you're doing it for the money? But I appreciate you all for watching. Make sure, obviously, to smash follow, smash subscribe, and follow the Twitch if you want to see me, if you want to ask me questions live, and join the Discord. Literally, God bless.